in the business spotlight, your biggest show in the 254 here at Mwangaza TV. Remember, we're saying we love your feedback. Send us that message, send us that post, send us that subscription. On YouTube, we're at Mwangaza TV. On Instagram, we're at Mwangaza TV. On TikTok, we are at Mwangaza TV. And today, guys, we have so much prepared for you, and it's gonna be an amazing episode. Today we are venturing into agriculture, and to be more specific, we're venturing into smallholder farming, and we have our amazing guests. You're gonna be seeing them in a few. We have so much ready for you, so you can't touch that dial. Keep on watching and get ready. Stay tuned. So guys, it is time. We are bringing in our guests. We have Mr. Henry and Mr. Paul, and they're gonna be telling us who they are and what they do. And today, yani leo, we're just learning. Leo ni kusoma tu, and also pia ukisikia Kiswahili siongei sana is because today we have one of us who does not understand Swahili. So I'm gonna yeah, kidogo too, but yeah, I'm gonna be trying to, you know, use more of the English language. Remember, you can also reach me at all my social media pages at Nelly Moremi. Tell me what you'd love us to bring to you in our next episode, and tell me what you'd want us to even improve on. Remember, we love your feedback. So Mr. Paul, how are you?
I'm great. Thank you for having me. I think it's probably so thank you for having us.
Mr. Henry, you're feeling good?
I'm feeling really excited.
You're excited for this episode?
I'm excited for this episode, for the opportunity. I'm always excited when I get to work with Paul directly. We live in different countries, but we get together to do the good work.
Yeah. Maybe you can start by telling us, then we'll come to Mr. Paul. You can start by telling us who you are, maybe from what country you're from, what has brought you to Kenya, how did you find yourself in Kenya, so that now our viewer will have, you know, something to know from maybe your background.
Yeah, so I live in London, UK. I'm very European now, but I have my roots in the beautiful island of Madagascar, and so I've been in and around East Africa for 15 years.
Wow.
My best friends here. I feel like Nairobi in many ways is my spiritual home. I really like the vibe. I like working here, and of course Paul has been a long-term business partner of mine. We've worked together for a long time.
Well, just business, but not friend anymore.
Friend came first. Friend came first. We did it the old school way. We became friends first, and then business partners.
Good to know you. What about you, Mr. Paul?
Yeah, well, I'm Paul Mushoi, co-founder of Nicola Energy. Lucky enough, I was met Harry through my co-founder, Dr. Kendi Mchungi. And so it's been a pleasant time, and we work together. He's deep into the tech space, me not so much. Maybe Dr. Kendi, she's a competent neuroscientist. But yeah, so that's how we met through her, Dr. Mchungi, and we've built a relationship up to now, and now we are business partners. Looking forward to change the smallholder sector.
Wow. Yeah. Paul Muchoi. Muchoi sounds like a Kikuyu Meru name.
Meru
name. Yes,
wow. West, Kianjari,
oh my God. Meru people. Hi. I'm also from Meru actually, but they meant it
so can I give a quick shout out to the other Mount Meru, because my mother-in-law lives at the other Mount Meru on the Tanzanian side.
Wow. Of course, go ahead.
Hopefully you're watching from Tanzania as well.
So, Mr. Muchoi, you say that you are a co-founder of Nicola Energy. Yes. Would you tell us about that?
Well, I know the name is not a dead giveaway that we're in agriculture. So we started out in energy, then quickly pivoted to agriculture a few years later. And this idea was born out of curiosity, right? So my mother is a widow, sadly. We lost our dad about 15 years ago. She's a professional, she's an auditor, has her own small auditing firm in Nairobi, but now she's moved down to Meru. So she moves down to Meru, quickly forms a widows group, and tries to support widows. You quickly learn that most of them are farmers, right? but they need support one way or the other, right? So we were asking ourselves, myself, Dr. Kendi Mchungi, and later Harry, were asking ourselves, how would we support farmers? How do we go about supporting them? We didn't have an exact answer because there are already 1,001 different solutions that are available to them, but we haven't seen a major change in or shift in the yield rates, for example, and the fortunes for farmers. So we're curious now, how do we go about it? You go online, look for data around smallholder farmers, and we quickly found out that it doesn't exist, right? That speaks to them as who they are, doesn't exist. And that's, I guess, where we found our niche is. We found that we need to be able, before we create solutions and build anything, the first thing is what a doctor would do is before they treat you is go to the lab, you go have your tests done, and then now bring me the results, and then maybe we can sort you out. And same with what we believe solving for smallholder farmers should be is let's see what they're doing currently, build out, flesh out the data, a data set of what they're doing, how they're farming, and then now use that to better advise them on how to change whatever mistakes they're making, if any, and allow them a bigger market. Yeah, so generally that's how we started out, curiosity, and a son trying to help his mother out.
Wow, and that is so good. So that is how you started out with your founder,
Dr. Kendi. Dr. Kendi
How
Mchungi.
does Henry come in? My question is, fast forward how many years after now you founded that?
Okay, we started the agriculture part about two or so years ago. You quickly learn that there are a lot of technology requirements when you're dealing with data, collecting data, at least, and also if you want precise and highly accurate data. So there's a lot of tech requirements, and between just Dr. Kendi Mchungi is probably one of the best IT people in the country we have. I'll say that, but you quickly learn, you move faster by yourself, but go further with people, right? And therein comes in Harry, and
2 years later.
Well, a year in between that. In between the 2 years we met, now someone in between.
I was aware of what was going on. I was watching from the sidelines, and I realized at some stage we can help.
And he's deep in the tech space. His company HCI York, and they offered what we really needed, right? Which is now building out a platform that will hold all these smallholder farmers we're looking to work with. They've built a similar platform for somebody somewhere. He'll tell us more about that, I guess. But so that's exactly how we started out working. Is one of the ethos we believe in is integrity, right? And those are the only partners we work with, people of high integrity. And we found Harry, somebody of high integrity, and that's how we got to working together.
Mr. Harry, you come in 1.5 years later, and also you say that you were on the sidelines. But I also understand that for him it was he saw a niche, especially because his mother is a farmer. And for you now, what actually struck your interest to say, I want to partner with this man?
Well, three things. So one is, Paul's mentioned it, is the integrity. So we choose very carefully who we partner with, because we do long-term projects. We do projects where our oldest project is 27 years old. We're still doing it, right? So we've built one of the world's biggest trading platform for sustainably sourced sugarcane. So the farmers trade the sugarcane on our tech platform. That was one thing. The other thing was there is a huge opportunity here. So I didn't just see the opportunity of helping a farmer. We know how many of smallholder farmers there are, right? So we're talking about several hundred millions just here. But we're also talking about Asia, and we are talking about a mega trend at the moment where everywhere in the world people are curious about doing their own stuff. So we are now, even in Europe, people have plots that they plant and that they want to plant properly, and where they collect data, and where there is a question about sustainable food self-sufficiency. it's, for instance, crazy that in this region of the world where we can grow anything, we are not self-sufficient in food.
True.
It makes no sense.
Yeah,
and the key, of course, are the many. It's not the few, because they want to do export market anyway. But the people who grow our food, the good food, the ones with good taste from that's farm to plate very quickly. That's the people. If we can get everyone, imagine just 10% more yield for all of them, for 200 million farmers, changes the world, right? So this was the opportunity we saw. And then I spoke to Paul, and we speak all the time anyway. And I said, well, look, I've got all these tech guys. They can write code, and they're really good at database stuff. We've done this many times before. So why don't we team up so you don't have to worry about that bit quite as much, right? So you worry about actually getting the farmers on board and getting the different partners on board, and eventually banks and investors, and I'll have the guys worry about the tech, so that we can always show the tech and say, look, it's cleanly built, it's good tech, it'll last a lifetime.
So with that being said, where do you see the smallholder farming base in Kenya in the next 10 years? Because you say that you do long-term projects, so where do you see, Ama, what's your vision, you two as partners, where do you want to take us?
You want to go first?
Sure, why not? Well, for me, something Harry has spoken about is, and for me is the backbone of why we really want to work on this, is food security, right? I remember many years back, I don't know if you guys remember, there's an article, there was somebody from a foreign country offered Kenyans dog food as relief for us as people, right? And this was, I think, one of the things that has broken me, right? It is, we need to be able to be self-sufficient, right? And I want us to be able to do that, right? And you quickly see with the little work we've done so far, with small tweaks and small changes, we'll quickly get to this goal we really want and really need to get to, right? And smallholder farmers are the backbone of our country, biggest employer, and biggest contributors to food security, because when a smallholder farmer can't feed themselves, then the country is in trouble, right? So, and also there are small things like one of the projects my mom works with, one of the polytechnics somewhere in Meru, is students who don't have the money to pay for their school fees, they can take their bag of maize and use that as school fees, right? So it offers people avenues to education and opens the world up to them, right? So where do I see us going? One, food will be food secure, but also will increase the fortunes of smallholder farmers, right? Offer them a bigger market, and help them improve on the quality of what they're producing.
We can have Mr.
Can I want to comment on that? I want to paint two pictures, so we're well aligned, of course. But so one thing is, I want to get away from this narrative of the pitiful farmer. All the smallholder farmers that I talk to are fantastic people. They know a huge amount, but they all know individually rather than collectively, right? So that data isn't useful on a macro scale. They know a huge amount about their land, about the stuff that they've already done, but it's not useful when they go to the bank, for instance, when they want a loan, because there's no way to track what they're good at. So we're always caught in this loop of somehow there's smallholder farmers who need help, but they already have so much. It's just that we're not able to deploy it unless we datafy it in a way. So for me, the picture that I want to paint 10 years from now is it doesn't matter how big your farm is, you will have the same access to data. You will know what the market price is for your produce. You know what to plant in the kind of soil that you have. You know where to plant and what distance from each other the plants go, what you need, and you know where to get help. And you can go to the bank and you can prove that you're a great farmer because you've taken the advice from the app and you've implemented it, and you can prove the yields on your mobile device. You can show, this is the yield of my land. I'm a really good farmer. You can prove what you already know in a way, right? And that's why I'm saying the narrative is a little bit wrong. There are great farmers who know huge amounts of stuff, but without data, you know, the Economist the British paper always said, "In God we trust. All others must bring data."
Yeah.
And this is it. This is the data that you bring. And so for me, it's the farmer has his phone or her phone, knows exactly what the land does, and so does everyone else.
And also, sorry, just one thing I remember I probably should have spoken about also is, and if you ask policymakers, right, what the contribution smallholders play, it's not exactly clear, right? Because there is not representative data available to them, right? And through our platform, we hope to reach almost 100,000 smallholder farmers, right? 100,000 voices is loud enough for them to shape and contribute to what policy says about farming techniques and things that would affect them directly, farming-wise, right? So it will give them a voice to put forward exactly what they need, and the needs will be database rather than people just assuming or using the excuse of what they're saying is not data backed, right? So that's what we really want to do, is give them a voice and allow them to represent themselves rather than guesstimations. And
this is it. Right, you're putting a finger on it. It's a data problem, right? Because everyone knows subconsciously. We all know what the contribution is. Biggest employer in the land, the people who cultivate and care for the land and feed the nation.
Yeah.
But we don't have the data.
Yeah.
Soon we will.
And there's so many people benefiting from that.
Yeah.
The fact that these people are not well represented, there's no data. There's so many brokers, especially from Meru. You find a farmer, you plant your banana or whatever, and by the time it gets to Nairobi, the farmer has only like 500 Kenyan shillings. It's not sustainable at all.
But also he will accept whatever price he gets from the broker because he's not going to go back empty-handed. Right? So.
Yeah, and also small things like just where to put, quote unquote, the development funds, right? You see, if say my mother farms somewhere deep in Meru, and you notice the access roads, right, between the farm and the market are not done well, right? The only way you can advise, say for example, the government on this is an important road to do or to open up the market for these farmers is being data back, right? So you say, okay, there are 10,000 farmers here, their output is very high. What they just need is a road from point A to point B and allows them to sell their feed, to sell their produce without a problem, right? So small things like that will allow for larger changes ultimately.
So if you can just summarize all that, policies, data, sustainable farming, and maybe a government official who's watching, what we actually need for that farmer who's in Meru right now, or in Nyeri, or in Murang'a.
In my opinion, because look, we probably all have different opinions. I'll tell you, it's what we've been talking about, just the data, right? It allows them to do any and everything they want, right? Right now, smallholder farmers particularly are locked into only getting credit facilities that speak to farming, right? But if I'm a farmer and I wanted a loan to, say, take my child to school, right? How would I go about getting that loan, right? I'd have to offer my land up as collateral and whatever, my cow, goat, whatever I have, right? What we are offering and what the strong point of our solution is, it opens them up to a wider access to credit, right? So they can say, oh, I'm a very good farmer, these are my records, and I can walk into a bank and say, okay, the main reason I want a loan today is not just for farming, right? Is I want to take my kid to school, or I want to smooth out my spending this farming cycle. So it allows them to represent themselves clearer and have a better relationship between them and the farmer, more clear and unbiased, right? Because we would be the quote-unquote intermediary between the farmer and the bank, right? So the confidence the bank has with this data is, it's not a farmer saying, hey, me, I'm a good farmer. It is me telling the bank, hey, this guy is a good farmer, right? So you can see, so he deserves very cheap interest rates, right? What say a large scale farmer would get, right? Rather than the, in my opinion, very predatory interest rates that are available to them, right? So with what we're offering is a wider and cheaper access to credit is what we believe we'll be offering them.
Maybe you can have Mr. Harry's take on that as we.
Yeah, I would like to. So I'll take. You've painted a picture of the person, which is the valuable story. If I explain it slightly differently from the perspective of what happens in the overall value chain, right? So the first thing that happens is that we have the data to optimize yields. So the first thing that happens in the community is yields go up. The second thing that happens is that data is available also, for example, to the government, so they know, wow, this is an area, actually this much food comes out of it, but there are no roads, so half of the money is lost on the way because you have bumpy roads or something not moving or only small trucks being able to go. So then we improve the infrastructure around that area based on facts, right, based on numbers. Then if the farmer, let's take a different example for the credit, wants to expand, right, have more land, needs credit, it goes to the bank, there's data that shows these guys know what they're talking about, they've got great yields every year, they know exactly what they're doing, they're a safe bet, right? So we're de-risking the guy who's offering the loan, which means that that guy is not able to take what Paul called predatory rates because there's no reason for it. The data shows it's not necessary to give them that high. And there'll be competition, of course, for giving that loan now that there is that certainty, right? And then, of course, over time also what you'll see is you'll see as the system expands, you will see yields in different areas, you'll see capability in different areas, and you'll see more food security.
Yeah, and it's also one last thing probably, and a question to your viewers and to you actually. It's what there is actually just a small story before I ask this question is one of the people we visited with is a lady. She farms on a small piece of land, not bigger than this room, right? So maybe 5 meters by 5 meters, right? And then I have a friend who does 10 acres of bananas, right? This in the eyes of an investor or our bank, these are both smallholder farmers, right? How do you differentiate between these two people? Because their needs are very different, right? One probably needs a loan of 10 million, 15 million. The other needs 10,000 bob just to tide them over a period, right? What we are offering is exactly that now, is being able to differentiate the general term that is thrown around here, who is a smallholder farmer, right? So there is this person who farms a very small piece of land, but is equally deserving of a product that will solve for her or them, and a person who's doing 10 acres and wants to export at one point in their life, right? It is exactly that. It's being able to allow each and every farmer solutions that are cheap, but fair
and sustainable. Thank you so much. My viewer, that has been our first segment. Now in the second segment, we're going to be getting into the details of how these people can actually come to your farm and do all that they have described, and maybe get to help you, not even maybe, actually get to help you as a smallholder farmer. So stay tuned, ask your questions on the comment section, just send that comment. You never know, maybe the next time we will be at your farm in Vihiga and we'll be having these great people, great men, professional men helping you out as a farmer, and the next thing you're getting a loan at a bank and your children are learning. So stay tuned until the next segment.
Unatazama Mwangaza TV, tumaini lako.
The cry of our heart is to be where you are.
Kila siku ya Ijumaa Tunatamatisha wiki kwa sifa na nderemo kwake Mwenyezi Mungu.
Jesus Christ is Redeemer.
Bendi tofauti tofauti, zote nia ikiwa ni moja: kumtukuza Mwenyezi Mungu.
Bwana asifiwe. Amen. Milele na milele.
Hakikisha unatazama Sifa Night kila Ijumaa kuanzia saa 2 za jioni. Usikose.
Mwangaza wa Neno, kipindi cha Injili katika runinga ya Mwangaza, kila siku ya Jumamosi saa 3 asubuhi. Mahubiri ya kusisimua,
kwa sababu Mungu anakaa juu ya sifa za watu. Wakati wanasifu, utukufu wote unateremka. The power from heaven inashuka ndani yao. Kuna nguvu inashuka leo.
mafundisho kiundani.
Naomba hiyo nyota yako iliibiwa, ndio Mungu airejeshe na isimame mahali baraka zako ziko. Amen. Mahali ungekuwa leo kutoka hiyo miaka yote, ndio Mungu akusimamishe hapo. Amen.
Mifano ya kujifunza nayo.
The same God aliyetembea na akina Abrahamu hata leo yuko hai. Wanaongojea Bwana, wanaoamini Jehova, wanaojua Jehova, wanaopenda Jehova, hawawezi kuaibika.
Unabii.
Anasema hata ikiwa dhambi yenu ni nyekundu kama damu, itawaokoa. Ndio. Anasema nirudieni. Ambia jirani yako, rudia Mungu.
Rudia Mungu.
Maombezi.
Baba, katika jina la Yesu. Nimekuja mbele zako.
Ndio.
Ninakushukuru kwa wema wako.
Ni kweli.
Ninakushukuru kwa utukufu wako.
Na shuhuda za yale Mungu ameyatenda.
Mungu alitumana kwetu roho ya kifo ifike mwisho.
Ndio.
Mimi ni huyu mama mkiangalia hapa, nilipata stroke. Yes.
Ndio.
Na nilikuwa na hematoma, hiyo ni blood clot kwa kichwa ama damu kuganda kwenye kichwa. Hata kwa hii madhabahu nilikuwa nashikiliwa.
Ndio.
Lakini leo nakuja kushuhudia kuwa Mungu.
Amen.
Nimesimama hapa mbele yenu. Nimesimama mbele yenu. Hata nyie wagonjwa mkae mkujua na mtumainie Mungu. Mkimtumainia atakuja na atawatendea.
Ni kipindi cha Mwangaza wa Neno kila siku ya Jumamosi saa 3 asubuhi katika runinga ya Mwangaza.
Kumbe hata unanipigia ushafika. Mko vipi?
Tuko salama kabisa.
Ndio mmeingia saa hizi? Funguo ziko wapi? Una driving license?
Niko nayo.
Hebu nione kwanza.
Mimi niko na experience ya shakameta.
Wow. Oti, fungua gate. Shuka kwanza. Leta funguo. Kwani kuuliza ulisoma wapi kuendesha gari? Umeniambia unajua kuendesha gari, aibu angalia vile ambavyo unatarisha maisha ya watumizi wengine wa barabara. Kwani wewe?
Nasuli unajua kuendesha gari. Wewe na shakameta mko hivi. Nini imefanyika?
Hebu ingia, nataka nikupeleke Jewel Institute of Advanced Driving School. Utende ufanye refresh. Kusema kwamba ujikumbushe. Hebu ingia hapo hivyo twende.
Excellence and quality driving school instructions is what Jewel Driving School offers. It gives you an experience like no other, accredited by NTSA. A driver's safety comes along with careful driving, bearing in mind other road users and pedestrians included. We offer theoretical driving classes, executive classes and refresher courses. We offer training on both manual and auto transmission vehicles, and our training are based on the new NTSA curriculum. We are located 5th floor, Jewel Complex, Ruesambu, next to TRM Thika Road. Come join us and experience a driver's confidence. Jewel Driving School. Drive with confidence.
Ukiwa na biashara yako ambayo ungependa imfikie mteja wako vyema na kwa njia sabamba, zungumza nasi kupitia 0758487904, 0758487904. Mwangaza TV ni tumaini la biashara yako.
Unatazama Mwangaza TV, tumaini lako.
Welcome to our next and second and last segment today, and we still have in studio Mr. Paul and Mr. Harry, and we are so excited for this part because they are telling you how you can reach them and how they can reach you.
Yeah.
I'm not going to be saying much. I'm just going to leave them to explain everything from how we reach them in their app and how that app works. Is it a mobile app? Do we install it on our phones? How do we access it? Everything. So maybe we can start with Mr. Paul. Tell us, for a farmer in Vihiga County right now and is watching us and is like, hey, hawa watu wako Nairobi. These people, hizi vitu ni za watu wa Nairobi. Now change that. Kwanza toa hiyo narrative that hawa watu wako Nairobi.
Hatuko Nairobi. Ni muhimu kwa sababu tulianza Meru. We started out in Meru. Our proof of concept is where we have our first 60 farmers. We did our proof of concept, 60 farmers. Well, it's another 200 in waiting to join the platform. We started out in Meru. So hii si kitu ya Nairobi or anything like that. Ni ya kila mtu. So hata Vihiga tutakuja. Nasikia Vihiga, nasikia sisi ni watu tutaenda huko. Yeah. So first of all, I'll start by telling you what we do, right? So how the process looks generally, and then now we'll tell you what the plan is with the onboarding farmers and all of that. So what a typical visit, or actually what we call onboarding. So we have 4 visits with a farmer, right? So the first thing is to get to know you. So case in point, if you are one of the farmers we want to onboard, we'd come to your farm and ask you, who are you? You tell me your names, you tell me, and all of this, first of all, the first thing we do is ask you, do you want to participate, right? Because this is sio lazima. If you want to participate.
And if I may cut you short, now what's the procedure for asking? Because you can't just meet me on the road and be like, so what's the procedure?
How we go about it is through circles, right? Or groups. We started out with a widows group. My mom's widows, as I said, we lost my father a while back. She started a widows group. We wanted to support them, so we started, primarily we work with groups, right? We are looking to onboard.
Chamas or circles. What do you mean by groups?
You see, My mom has an NGO. It is for widows, right? So there are 300 of them. One of the partners we are about to work with, they have a farming group. So it's not that is not a circle per se. It's not a circle yet, but it's just a farming group where they all farm together, sell together, and share their learnings together, right? So there's about 6,000 of them. So primarily we go through groups, right? So we won't meet you in the road and ask you.
So I have a group.
Yeah.
Maybe 200 people.
Yeah.
How do I reach out to you?
Primarily, you can email me. I don't know if I should read out my email or you can put it at the bottom there. So moshoi@nicolaenergy.co.ke. It's long, but you hopefully you put it at the bottom there for your viewers. We have a number dedicated for that also. Should I read it out or you will share it?
Just read it.
So 0710 609557. So we prefer the group representatives reach out to us, all right? So there's some form of consensus before we talk to the farmers. But generally that's how we start off, is working with groups, so that there's something I'd mentioned is when you walk together you go further than when you walk by yourself. So most people, even generally when we're starting out this solution, everybody told us, there are too many smallholder farmers, it would be easier if you work with the large scale farmers, and all of that. But we believe the problem that people think that there is too many of them is their strength, right? So the more of them, the easier, the more we can do. So generally that's how you reach out to us. And so we reach out, we work through groups.
So now we've reached out to you and we've told you maybe we are farmers from this region. How do you come out? What's the process of you coming to our farm?
So the first thing is, as I was going to mention, is consent, right? We need your consent before anything else. Before we start doing anything, it is consent. This is consent-based solution, right? So we'd first ask you, do you just merely by the fact that that we've been invited by your group doesn't mean that you as a person have consented to us visiting you and going through this journey with you, right? So the first thing is to ask you is, do you want to participate in all of this, right? Now, we explain to you that this is not a short-term solution. This is a very long-term solution, right? Because we need to build out this data set so that when you're going to a bank, it's not just one farming cycle or two farming cycles. We have documented how well you're farming over period of time, so that there is trust between these two different stakeholders. So we'll explain to you now, as you will tell you now, we are going to be visiting your farm 4 times, a farming cycle. So for example, March to October, August, September, thereabout. We'll visit 4 times. The first one is to now know who you are, where do you farm, see the general location, your family, how many dependents do you have, where do you get your labor from, and things of the nature. The next visit, now we check where did you get your seeds from, right? Do you get from an agrovet? Are you using seeds from the previous farming cycle? So we are now gauging the quality of the seeds you're using and the likes, right? Then even with that, we have a drone technician. So the drone technician takes an aerial picture of your farm. So we map out exactly where your farm starts and ends, so we know, so we can estimate what we expect you to yield at the end of all of this, right? So now we know who you are, we know where you farm, we know how big your piece of land is. We've seen what seeds you're using. Now is to monitor how you're farming, right? So the next visit, we'll see how well the seeds have grown, right? So one of the softwares we have is a health estimator, right? So it tells us, okay, how well is how well are your plants doing? So if you have an acre piece of land, it'll tell us at the northwest corner, kuna shida hapo. So we investigate a little bit more, see what the problem is, and make a note of what that problem is. After that, we have another visit. Same, we have the drone technician with us, takes an aerial picture. Now we are trying to see how well your plants are growing, right? So we took a picture week 6, it's now week 12. Is it the plants growing expected in the expected growth rate, right? If not, find out what's the problem, and make a note of what we're seeing the problem is. And then we have a last visit harvest time. We see, okay, we've seen where you got your seeds, how you've been planting, have you been using pesticides, fertilizer, using manure, all of that good stuff. And then now we have a harvest, right? So we have the platform now here is building will tell us, okay, generally we expect a yield of X, Y, and Z, right? From 1 acre, we expect you to do 10 bags, right? Yeah. But you tell me, hey, I only got 4 bags, right? Your neighbor across, who's also on our platform, he may hit his 10 bags. So what is the problem? Where is the disconnect, right? So now the learnings we make, we have a farmer's day. So we call the farmers together and make now the learnings from, we compare the 10-bag farmer, the 4-bag farmer, and we see where the problem is. And we now try to bring now the 4-bag farmer to where the 10-bag farmer is. Yeah, and now we just document how we've been doing all of this. Yeah.
And I think just to add on that, maybe for someone who just joined us, we're doing all this just to obtain sustainable data that can be used maybe by stakeholders like banks to give you sustainable results. So maybe for someone who just joined in, it's like, why are we doing all this? And so to my next question, now after this first meeting with all the farmers, this is now the first yield.
Yes.
And then do you still monitor the second and the third yield?
Yeah, you see now it is.
So now it's for a period of.
Yes, we'll go as long as you allow us to visit, right? So it is to build, quote unquote, longitudinal data. It is to build a data set where you can represent yourself. When you go to the bank, you don't need me, you don't need Harry, or you don't need anybody. It is you walk into the bank yourself, you tell the bank you tell the bank to access your score on our platform. You tell the bank, look, Harry says I am a 9 out of 10 farmer, and this is the track record, right? So I've been farming for 10 years. We've been together with Harry for 10 years, and this is the track record. Every year I've been hitting my mark of 10 bags a year. So I need a loan to take my kid to school, and I can guarantee you at the end of the farm, my 10 bags are worth 20,000 bob. If you give me a loan of 10,000 bob, for sure you'll get your money, right? So it allows the farmer to be able to represent himself anywhere and everywhere they go. Yeah.
And Mr. Henry, now you can explain to our viewer how the app works and how you come in the whole of this process.
Yeah, so it'll also give me an opportunity to summarize what you said there, because you're much smarter than I am, Paul, so that you have a very elaborate explanation there. So essentially, the app collects all the data across the process of meeting the farmer 4 times, for example, and it also visualizes and shows it so that it's actually usable. So, for example, the first step was to actually meet a farmer and to take an aerial view of the land to see what size it is and what's on it. That goes into the app. You can see it. You can see your own data in the app, right? Then the next step is, as the farming cycle goes along, there are improvements that are suggested based on the health check, and so those improvements also go into the app. So the app might say, well, you need to fertilize differently, or you need to give more space between the plants, or things like that. So you can also see that. So you also have you're able to track, okay, these are my tasks that I need to do so that I become in your language, a 10-bag farmer rather than a 4-bag farmer.
So as the farmer, I have the app on my phone.
Yes. Yeah, you can see it. You can see it in a mobile way. You can walk around and look at your farm data.
In this whole process, I have it.
You have it the whole time. Yeah.
I think, sorry, just to add on to what you were saying, is the idea is he doesn't need to carry his phone, right? The bank would be able to check through us how well he's been farming, right? It's a good thing. The farmer will be able to check for himself. This is my farm. These are the problems I had last year. These are the recommendations that were made. However, it will allow the platform will allow different stakeholders to see, if you allow them, right? If the farmer allows them to see for themselves exactly what the farmer has been doing and how well they've been farming and the changes they've been making.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. No, I was getting there in a way. So the next step, of course, you've got the data now. You've taken actions. You can also see the results of your actions, right? So it's the data. The longer you go, the longer you're on the platform, the more data there is. But I think you mentioned something really important there, Paul, which is that it's not just your data as the farmer, it's the other data of the other farmers. So you have a snapshot of what good looks like in the region. You can see, okay, there's lots of 10-bag farmers around me. Why am I at 6 or 7? What do I need to do, right? And the stakeholders, the bank is one, government agencies, investors in land can also see all of the data aggregated, and they can also see the progression of data, which means that if we had a region that had certain amounts of yields, they can also see how the yields over time improved, right? And they can see what were the actions taken. And this allows us a lot of interesting manipulation of the data in the sense of, or use, better word is a use of the data, because the farmers, the stakeholders, because what you see is, okay, these are the problems that we had on the land. These are the solutions that worked. Let's see if that can work somewhere else. So the next person getting onto the platform will not start from zero. They already have all the data that collects over time, which is part of the beauty of it.
And also, to add on what his last part there is, there are 1,001 different solutions available to smallholder farmers, right? The one thing we've noticed through going to ground and all of that is they don't know of these solutions, right? So part of what we would be doing is educating them on some of the solutions that probably we don't have, that are available to them and that they can use to better help out their farming endeavors, right? So one thing we talk about and we've seen is there needs to be a deeper penetration of the available solutions to the farmers so that they can use them more.
Can I just riff off that? Because I think one important thing is there are huge amounts of solutions in any given space. And the problem is that people get, and this is where we get back to the integrity of working together, people get territorial. So they say, this is my app, but no one else has access. So now you end up with 10 different apps, right? We are building the technology in a way that it'll integrate easily with others. So if we have a great solution that works and it solves some of the problem, and we have another part, then we will build the tech in a way that will allow the merging of the tech in a way to allow the data transfer, because otherwise we're just creating more problems in a way rather than solutions, right?
So the app is coming up, it's not up yet.
There is a good demo of it, and there's a good number of farmers already. You've got 60 proof of concept and 200 farmers waiting to be.
Hopefully another 6,000 also. So yeah.
But I wanted you to tell us where we can find it.
You cannot download it yet, right? So it needs, and one of the reasons is it's not as simple as just building the tech. The more data there is, the more useful it is, right? So the starting point is not just that you have an app. The starting point is that there's an app with data in it. And of course, Paul said it before, the data isn't you go and visit the farm once. It's you need to cycle. Right, so you need the farming cycle, so you need to see the beginning and the end. So what we don't want to do is the solutions available in that you can call Paul today and they will come and work with you and it'll be helpful immediately today. But what we don't want people to do is download another app to their phone that then is a little bit useful, right? So it needs to be proper.
And also we are talking about farmers have short-term needs and long-term needs, right? I don't think there's a farmer who cares whether it's an app or anything like that. What they need is just results, right? And for us, the most important thing is to share with them what we are seeing, right? That is the most important. But so far, that's why we're building out the app, but it hasn't been the main focus. The main focus has been us being able to detect what problems they have and being able to articulate and tell them, blight, you have armyworms, being actionable solutions to their problems is the most important thing for us, rather than
I think we've been around the sun a couple times. We've done this a few times, and I'm really personally, as an investor and a techie, I'm really allergic to this idea that we're going to build a tech somewhere and it's pretty, and then we're going to take the tech to the problem. We need to take the problem to the tech. There's no point in building something for the sake of building something if it doesn't solve the problem. I really don't like that approach. I think the approach has to be, we figure out the problem and how to give value. And then when we know how to solve the problem, we find technology to augment or facilitate the solution of the problem so that we can be faster and serve more people. But it shouldn't be the other way around, that you build the tech first. And you've seen lots and lots of examples of that. Yeah.
Maybe as we wind up and as you give us your parting shots, you can just tell us, in the whole of this process, are we paying? Are you charging? And then also as you wind up, where can people find you? And maybe the last thing that you could just say to our viewer watching you right now. And then you go first, then Mr. Harry.
Okay. I think, one, we don't charge farmers, right? The only people we charge are the stakeholders participating in the ecosystem. Say guys who deal with the fertilizers and NGOs and non-governmentals that are large that would want to support farmers, we will charge them, right? And the government. So we don't charge farmers at all. This is free to them. They'll have access. They'll always have access to their data for free. We want to change how the status quo. All right. We've noticed we aspire to build a better country, but we've noticed it hasn't been changed for many years now. All right. So we want to try something different. And different approach to farmers, an approach which uplifts them rather than uses them, an approach which speaks to who they are, because farmers are people who, contrary to what people say, are people who are able to do a lot, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think I'd like to answer the same question about getting paid and who pays, right? So the whole premise is there will be more to share overall, right? So the question of, in addition to what Paul rightfully said, is when you have higher yields, there is no problem of sharing the extra yield, right? So everyone's better off, and that sounds dreamy, right? We are dreamers, that's why we start this kind of thing, but we are dreamers with a track record. So we've done this before several times over, and it's worked beautifully, and it's going to work again. And it's really, my parting shot is just that it's a really exciting time to be doing this, because now is a time where we can combine what we have known for centuries about farming our land with modern technology. And let's just make sure that everyone has access to technology. Yeah.
This has been the Business Spotlight. I am your host, Lady Muremi. Till next week, same time, same place. See you.